In the 83 episode of the A.S.A.P Tech News, we talk about a new Silentium PC 240mm liquid CPU cooler, GELID launches a new single-tower air CPU cooler, Teamgroup announces a new all-in-one liquid CPU cooler, and Patriot has a new DDR5 RGB and non-RGB RAM kits. We start with Silentium PC and their newly announced all-in-one liquid CPU coolers, the Navis F240 and the Navis F240 ARGB. As the name suggests, both CPU coolers use a 240mm radiator and a closed-loop system. These CPU coolers use an asymmetrical PWM-controlled ceramic bearing pump, which has a minimum speed of 1600 RPM and a maximum speed of 2600 RPM. The active cooling is done by two 120mm fans. Other features found on these CPU coolers include a redesigned mounting system that is compatible with all CPU cooler sockets still being used today on the market. The only differences between the Navis F240 and the Navis F240 ARGB is, as the name suggests, the addressable RGB integration found within the Navis F240 ARGB. Of course, the pricing is different depending on the RGB integration. While the regular Navis F240 can be purchased for €75, the addressable RGB variant can be had for €86. And both coolers are already available for purchase. We continue with GELID, which has launched a new single-tower air CPU cooler called the Tranquillo Rev 5. This CPU cooler has an all-black coating applied on everything except its base plate. The active cooling is done using a single 120mm fan, which has a minimum speed of 700 RPM and a maximum speed of 1600 RPM with full PWM compatibility. The heatsink has a single tower design and uses 4 copper-made heat pipes, which are integrated into the surface and structure of the base plate of the cooler. The base plate uses the well-known direct heat pipe touch design. The Tranquillo Rev 5 CPU cooler is compatible with all modern CPU sockets and has a TDP rating of 150 watts, with a price tag of $35 or €45. Next, Teamgroup has a new CPU cooler, the T-Force SIREN GD360E ARGB. This model sports a 360mm radiator and 3 120mm addressable RGB fans. This CPU cooler is made to satisfy the current demand for both addressable RGBs and oversized radiators. The RGB integration with the T-Force SIREN is done on the fans and on the CPU block assembly. In fact, the latter has a dual-tone mirror design with the T-Force logo placed on the center. The pump installed inside the CPU block has a maximum speed of 4000 RPM and pushes the coolant through an aluminum-made water block with a copper-made base plate. The fans have a minimum speed of 600 RPM and a maximum speed of 2200 RPM. Fortunately, all these fans can be controlled via the PWM system. The T-Force SIREN GD360E ARGB will be available for purchase starting in late May 2022, with a price tag of $130 for the black variant or $140 for the all-white model. And finally, Patriot Memory has announced the Viper VENOM RGB and non-RGB DDR5 RAM kits. These RAM kits are advertised to run at a maximum of 6200 MHz and be available in a 16 or 32 GB configuration. Other features included with these RAM kits include a dedicated thermal sensor for the memory chips and a dual-tone aluminum-made heatsink. Other than this, these RAM kits are the same as other newly launched DDR5 RAM kits, all of them supporting looser than ideal timings and increased voltages to keep the advertised frequency a real possibility. And this is the end of the episode number 83 of the A.S.A.P Tech News, one of the few tech news series which aims to deliver you the news as fast as possible for your convenience.